What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and this is I guess you would call it my bad blood weekend experience. And my son and we got tickets to Bad Blood a couple months back, decided we're going to rent a car and drive down to Atlanta, just me and the boy for the weekend. A little father son time, a little bonding. And that's a private parts reference. Anyway, little dad time, little bonding. Anyway. So decided we went and got the hotel room because I was not about to drive down to Atlanta Saturday during the day and then drive back Saturday night. It's only an 8-hour drive, but still. So got down there Friday night, and already, man, my son is like, I see what you mean about the traffic. Because even in a car, you people in Atlanta I swear, you guys are the worst drivers in the whole country. And I don't mean to insult you guys, but it's true, man. When I'm sitting there driving and the traffic is at a dead stop for no reason whatsoever. I mean, like you stay stopped and you finally inch forward and sit in a 30-minute backup just to discover that there's no wreck, there's no cop, there's no flashing lights, nobody's on the side of it's nothing's there. It's a matter of you guys not wanting to go the speed limit and push a gas pedal. I mean, I'm a professional driver. I drive for a living. I've driven the 405 in LA, morning and evening rush hour. I've driven the I-95 George Washington Bridge in New York, morning and evening rush hour. Around Washington D.C. before the morning and evening and morning rush hour. It's still not as bad as Atlanta, Georgia. Anytime. It doesn't matter what time you go through Atlanta on a weekday. This is where I say I miss. And I know this makes me sound like a what. I miss COVID as a professional driver, as a truck driver. I miss COVID because when COVID was happening and nobody was on the road buying up that $1.25 gas, when COVID was happening and no one was on the road, no one was out doing anything, you can get around that beltway, that 285 in Atlanta. You can get around there, could have gotten around there in 20 minutes. Now, it takes you anywhere from about an hour to hour and a half to go around that thing fully. It's crazy. It should not be like that. And it's all because people don't want to push the gas pedal down there. There's no other, it's not speeding. They just don't want to go the speed limit or they just don't want to, they want to come to a complete stop. That is so dangerous. It is so dangerous. Anyway, finally got down to Atlanta. We left Friday morning, got down to Atlanta around 6 o'clock at night, went up to Alpharetta. We stayed about 30 minutes south of Alpharetta at the Hampton Inn Perimeter North. And shout out to those guys at the Hampton Inn. Really nice hotel. Um, they make you pay for Wi-Fi there, but most hotels do now. Anyway, went up to Alpharetta, which was only about 15 minutes away. Ate at the Benihana's. First time I ever ate there. It's a Japanese steakhouse chain. And I got to admit, it was good. It just ain't worth all that money. It's wicked expensive. $125 for me and my son to eat there. So, and it won't like we were getting the filet mignon. We weren't. He got teriyaki chicken, and I got the steak and shrimp, and we split a crunchy shrimp roll sushi gimmick. But they give you dessert and they give you soup and salad and all that stuff beforehand. So they make sure you don't leave there hungry, that's for sure. But anyway, anyway, uh, the next morning, the next morning, we wake up and my son decides that he wants to go try to meet Jay Uso, and Jay Uso was doing a meet and greet at the Cricket Wireless dealer off of Jimmy Carter Boulevard, eastern part of Atlanta, about a 30-minute drive away. And I told him the night before, if you want to do this, we need to wake up at around 6 o'clock in the morning and get there. So we ended up leaving the hotel at 7:30, went and had breakfast. Funny thing, you people in Atlanta, you have no shame. We're getting onto the elevator. We're on the second floor of the hotel. Getting onto the elevator, and as we're getting on, this African American gentleman had a Latino girl with him. And as we're getting off the thing, the gentleman looks to the lady and out loud, wherever me and my son could hear, he had no shame in this, says, "I'm so glad I met you on Tinder." So being a smartass, I stick my head out the window and I yell, "I would have swiped right too, bruh." Because, she was a nice looking girl. Way young for me. I'm old enough to probably be her grandfather, but, or at least her father. But they figure that they found out that they're going on off the wrong floor, so they have to turn around and get back on the elevator. And I'm lucky that this guy was cool because he was laughing at me. She was red faced and embarrassed because she knows what she did. They got all their clothes from the night before sitting in the plastic laundry bag that the hotel gives you and everything. So, they weren't there at the hotel for milk and cookies. They know what they were doing. If you're hearing this, you know what you were doing, bro. You know what you were doing, little lady. But he was laughing and gave me a fist bump. And I was like, dude, I had to say it. I mean, when you get off the elevator and you're that evident with it, you're that out there with it. Come on. So that was our first foray into the people of Atlanta and just how stupid and crazy they can be. So we leave the hotel, we get to this meet and greet, and it is now about 8 o'clock. And the Cricket Wireless dealer is in the middle of a shopping center, like at far end of a shopping center. So we get there and they are lined up to meet this man. These people have dragged their kids, or these kids have dragged their parents. They are lined up all the way down toward the end of the shopping center. This shopping center has about 10, 15 stores in it, all the way to the end of the shopping center. And they're weaving themselves through the parking lot. Me and my son took one look at that line and we're like, nope, we just kept driving. Didn't even try to stop and park. Because first off, there was nowhere to park. Second of all, I guarantee you not all those people got their stuff signed. And there was probably a lot of kids that were disappointed. But it's like, the man's only signing for 2 hours. And it's not like it's a proper meet and greet like at Fanatics Fest or anywhere like that. He has a stack of 8x10s and a pile of Sharpies there. And he's like, scribble, scribble, go, scribble, scribble, go. You're not going to have time to say hi. I guarantee you they were telling people you can't take pictures because it holds up the line. In fact, later on that day when we got to the arena, there was a couple there in line with us who said that they were there. They were leaving the arena, the meet and greet at 10:30, and they still had people all the way to the end of the shopping center. So, think twice before you try to go to these. I guarantee there were probably people camped out there from the night before. I would not be surprised. But we ended up going back to the hotel that morning, and I pigged out on the. I had second breakfast, as the hobbits would say. I had second breakfast. Hey, it's free. You might as well pig out. And went back up to the hotel. We stayed there until just chilling out until about 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then we went to Whataburger, which is fairly new in Atlanta. They have a few locations. A lot of them are still being built. But we found one that was open, and a lot of wrestling fans loved the Whataburger because there was a lot of people wearing T-shirts in there. And my son was rocking his CM Punk shirt for the event. I had my Cody Rhodes shirt on. And hey, if you're going to do it, you might as well mark out and do it right. So we ate the Whataburger. It was my son's first Whataburger experience, and he loved it. He's like, Dad, we need one of these where I'm at. Which Whataburger, if you're listening, Danville, Virginia, please. Please open one up in Danville. If you let me franchise it, I'll franchise the thing and open it myself because I love me some Whataburger. But apparently, these people who worked there at that Whataburger were fairly new. They didn't have no idea what was going on. Had to ask twice for ketchup, spicy ketchup. Um, and then my son wanted, we went and got parked. I paid for parking ahead of time, which I'm glad I did because they were charging people to park at the parking deck that was right there at the arena, $60. I know people from New York are going, that's nothing. They charge about 100 to 150 up there. Next time, people say, "Oh, take the train into there, take Marta or whatever it is in there." The problem with that is I don't want my son seeing crack deals and fentanyl deals going down on the damn trains going to Atlanta. Sorry. Anyway, so we got parked, and my son wanted to go into the superstore that they had set up there at the center, formerly the CNN Center, which you always used to see pictures of the CNN Center. If you look back, go back to when DX invaded the CNN Center in 98, 99. The place looked huge. I mean, and it does look huge on the inside, but the place was hustling and bustling, and you had people eating at the food court and escalators and everything. This place looks all but abandoned. They got a Subway, a third-rate Italian restaurant, a third-rate taco shop, and an Arby's in there, and that's it. And you could see where they used to have the CNN broadcasting out of there, but they don't anymore because Turner or see whoever owned that building after Turner or whatever has now, it's no longer the CNN Center. It's just the Center. And that was announced early last year that they were turning it into the Center. So they're going to basically gut the place and turn it into office buildings and condos. Um, it is convenient because it is right there next to the arena. It is attached to the Omni Hotel. The Omni Hotel, the Center, and the arena, State Farm Arena, all one big huge complex. They're all connected. Um, but WWE, you walk in this place, the Center, and immediately everybody's packed in there to get out of the heat. So, I'm going to be hello pot, I'm kettle here, but you had about 100, 200, 300 people in this space, in this little food court space, and imagine the fattiest, sweatiest neckbeards, smelliest neckbeards you can imagine around you. And that's what we had to walk through to get to this superstore, which is about the size of a damn Burger King. If you ever ate at a Burger King in a food court or McDonald's, it's real small, but they had a lot of merch in there, a lot of overpriced merch. Me and my son wanted shirts, Bad Blood shirts, $40 for a T-shirt. I can remember when WWE shirts, the very first shirt I ever bought from them was a Rob Van Dam shirt in 2002, early 2002, because it still had the WCW, ECW logo on the back of it when they was part of the Alliance. And that was 25. Now they're 40, so almost double the price. Um, they had a place out there where they had a little kiosk thing in front of the place where they were just selling title belts. The problem with that is people were gathered around just looking at the belts, wanting to hold the belts, take pictures with the belts, but they weren't buying the belts because their belts are wicked expensive. So we got our merch, took the merch back to the car, and anyway, glad I paid for parking ahead of time. I paid 50, other people were paying 60. But went back, stood in line, and this is where the fun began because these people in Atlanta selling bootleg handmade merchandise is funny as hell. The lady behind us was like, "I just want to go inside and buy a $10 water. All I want is a $10 water," which made me laugh. And then they had these guys, with the bootleg stuff. One guy had a throw rug. It looked like a throw rug that your grandmother would knit for you, or not even knit because it was not even knitted. It wasn't crocheted. It's one of those things where it's like a plastic square webbing panel, and you pull the thread up through that. The needle point. I don't know what you would call it, but it was like a throw rug, in the shape of a WWE title that this guy is trying to sell. And I'm just like, dude, you might as well stop, man. I'm just like, hey, you get an A for effort, but nobody's buying that shit. Nobody is going to buy that. Just stop. So that was funny. Everybody had a chuckle at that. This guy trying to sell his bootleg grandmama's throw rug in the shape of a WWE title. Probably got bed bugs in it or something, or ants. I don't know. But then there was a guy who had purchased one of the Cody Rhodes red coat Revolutionary War costume coats that he wears. They had those for sale at the superstore. $400. And what this idiot paid for one of these coats and is wearing it around. $400. It's like, dude, he's not gonna pick you out of the crowd and thank you for spending that. And then one of the guys in line showed us on his phone where you could pay $400 to buy the cape for that thing. So if you want to look like Cody Rhodes and wear the full on ensemble, $800. And it's not even real metal. The little shoulder wing pieces are plastic. $400. I looked at the lady next to me and I said, $400? That's a car payment for me. That's a quarter of my house note. What the hell? And then it hit me once we got a good look at this guy. The guy looked just like the Miz with the faux hawk haircut and the glasses and everything. And then it hit us in line. And I said it and everybody agreed. You know he did not buy that himself. His daddy bought that for him. And everybody agreed. I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of guy who goes out and, I was trying to make people laugh. This is the kind of guy that goes out and spends $400 on one of those coats and is living off food stamps in his mama's basement, So then we had already been in line an hour and a half when the doors opened. They had moved the doors opening time to 4:30 from 4 o'clock. And the reason why they did that was because they hadn't finished setting up yet. WWE did a live stream on YouTube of them building the Hell in a Cell, which was a cool idea. The problem was when 3 o'clock came, the cell was the only thing up. The lighting rig had been built, but they hadn't hung up the lighting rig. They had not built the ring. The staging was like halfway set up. So me and my son are sitting there going, there's no way they're going to have everything up and ready to go. They had no chairs on the floor. The barricades hadn't been set up. The padding that goes under the barricades, the announce table, the ringside area, none of that had been set up yet. The chairs for the ringside, the floor seating hadn't been set up yet. So, but, however, to their credit, when we got in there, everything was set up and everything was cooking. So kudos to the production team. We're standing in line waiting to get in, and we see the metal detectors. They make you walk through the metal detectors to get in there. We're thinking, cool. They're going to have individual lines set up, and you can just go to the metal detector nearest to you. No, they didn't. Because just like they like to bottleneck their traffic for no reason in Atlanta, they're bottlenecking us in line because they didn't funnel everybody into a line that zigzags for about 1/10 of a mile. Okay? And the line is made out of those, those nylon, kind of like what a seatbelt is made out of, things that they use at the movie theater. That's what these are made out of. So they're funneling everybody into this. And then you got to walk this zigzag pattern one way and then turn and walk a zigzag pattern the other way. And because people in Atlanta don't like to move anywhere, the line just suddenly stops for no reason. At the end of that line, once you get through it, they got about 8 metal detectors set up, and they're telling people, go all the way to the end. Let's make this move quicker. And they got people delegating what line you go into. Nobody's paying attention to that. Everybody who has not been standing on the sidewalk for an hour and a half is now cutting and trying to cut in front of us, which we're not letting them. So that's causing arguments there. This was a mess. This is probably this State Farm Arena is one of the worst arenas I probably have ever been to from a logistics and people moving, herding standpoint. Then we get to where my section is. We're sitting behind the stage. If you're looking facing the stage, we're all the way to the left. Okay? Good. I mean, it was good for what it was. We could still see everything. We just couldn't see the entryway. Um, and they have one of those little nylon rope things across the door to our section. So to get into our section, we have to walk 2 sections up and walk all the way across these row of stairs or row of seats, down a flight of stairs, around the concourse, and up another. It was horrible. They removed that rope by the end of by the middle of the night, to where you could easily access the concourse. But still, what are you guys in Atlanta thinking? The problem is you guys don't think. So we ended up in our seats. My son wanted a bottle of water. I wanted a soda. For $10 or $11, they give you a refillable cup. It's unlimited refills. You just go out there and get your soda at will. So I drank about 5 cups of soda throughout the night, diet soda mostly. But anyway, then the event happens, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end this as part 1. And while I'm recording here, it'll all be one part to you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording, and then we'll because I got to stop and get fuel here in a minute. And when we come back, I'll actually go through the event and let you know what I thought about the event. All right, then we go into the event proper. I know this is already taking way too long, but hey, I made a weekend out of this, so it's going to be a long story. We get into the event. CM Punk defeating Drew McIntyre. There was one noticeable fan behind me, female fan behind me, cheering for Drew the entire time. Everybody else was cheering for Punk. They went 31 minutes and 25 seconds, and even my son goes, "Man, this match is taking forever. They're giving him some time." I was like, "Yeah," and it was good. It was a really good match. Really good. That cell, like I said, that cell is just huge. You know, video and photos just do not do that thing justice of how big that thing is. Um, but yeah, overall good match. I was happy with the result. Nia Jax defeated Bayley by pinfall to retain the women's championship. Now I got to tell you guys, I've been a big proponent of Nia Jax over the last, few years, but this match right here kind of made me see the light, so to speak, about our Miss Nia Jax. This match was just botch after botch. The crowd around me could not believe how bad this was. How she botched her own move. She botched a Samoan drop, which is her own move. And just a girl that size trying to do a Hurricane Rana. I know bigger men have done Hurricane Ranas, but still, she's going to get somebody hurt big time if she keeps up like this. They were right to release her a couple years back. Nice seeing Bayley, though. Bayley's awesome. Damian Priest defeated Finn Balor. I will tell you that after the entrances, I went to go get me another refill of Coke Zero. And this match right here was just there. It was just there. They went 12 minutes and 45 seconds. And I got to tell you, if they would have left this off the card and put Sammy and Gunther on this, it probably would have been a better pay-per-view. Because while this is a grudge match, while it is kind of a blow-off to the feud, the match was just meh. We expected the run in from the rest of the Judgment Day and all the tomfoolery and all that mess. The crowd was not that into it. They were Damian Priest. I will say this: Damian Priest has the worst theme song in the company right now. I will say that I hate Damian Priest's theme song. They need to do better on that. But overall, it was there. Then Rhea Ripley defeated Liv Morgan by DQ. I thought it was, as soon as they had the shark cage in the aisleway, I'm like, okay, how is this going to work? And then Dominic just opens the door for no reason. Can't be explained. And then Rhea Ripley is sitting there, going out there with a kendo stick and whacking him and doesn't get a count out. This is the worst ref. This was like AEW Young Bucks refereeing right here. That's what this was. It was just a lot of bull crap and tomfoolery that just cannot be explained, that did not need to happen. The match itself was okay. Rhea Ripley's awesome. Everybody's into Rhea. Everybody's actually into Liv. Liv had some fans too. She's good at what she does. I think Liv Morgan is probably one of, if not the most improved wrestler on that roster in the last maybe 3 years. So maybe Trick Williams falls into that slot too on the male side of things. But then we had the main event. My God, the marching band showed up from Arkansas, and they played. And then the people, the string group, the band, the orchestra came out for Roman Reigns, and you couldn't hear the orchestra because they did not, you could hear the band play, and they kind of goofed it up because the band did not know to keep playing. They hit wrestling, has more than one royal family, and then they had to hit it again. So that was a flop. But the band was over. Cody Rhodes was over. And keep in mind, this is Cody Rhodes' hometown, Atlanta, Georgia. He grew up there. And, you know, he was not as over as Roman Reigns. And to me, that is scary. When Roman Reigns was supposed to pass the torch to Cody, and then you go to Cody's hometown, 6 months later. Let's see, that was in March, or April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 6 months later. And, Jim Cornette uses the old adage, how can I miss you if you won't go away? Well, Roman Reigns went away, and we instantly started missing the guy. And I think maybe we missed him a little bit too much for Cody Rhodes' liking. Because they, you know, it's got to be kind of worrisome for that company because Roman Reigns is on a very limited schedule. Cody Rhodes is not. And Roman was more over. Roman got besides The Rock got a huge pop when he came out. I thought that building was I thought it was going to be literally shaking when Rocky came out there. Now I was behind the stage, so I couldn't see him. But I heard his music and I looked up on the screens and there he was. But when Roman Reigns gets a bigger pop than Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is designed to be the next guy with Roman Reigns going on. I mean, Roman was on a limited schedule throughout his entire 3-year run. So still, I'm sitting here, I'm in WWE, and I'm looking at that. I'm going, whoa, we got a problem here. And then, The Rock comes out, huge pop. The match was good. I enjoyed the match. Everybody's chanting, F you, Solo. You can't wrestle. Solo sucks. I will say this too. Jacob Fatu. The cameras do not do this man justice. He is huge. And he is a star. That guy has superstar, megastar written all over him. I mean, he is huge in real life, in person. Yes, let's go wrestling make believe. No, I almost said it again. In person, he is huge and just unbelievably big for his size. For somebody he's tall. I didn't realize how tall he was, and just how muscular this dude is. I mean, he's a beast. But so yeah, the show wrapped up. I did not go down to the parking lot and look for the Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens fight because while that was going on, I was too busy trying to get out of that crazy ass parking deck that they had us in. And then it took me an hour and a half to get home. An hour and a half to go essentially maybe 20 miles. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I will never go back to Atlanta for another show again. I will never go to Atlanta for a football game, an NHL game, basketball game, nothing. Atlanta, I will go for a Braves game, but that's because their baseball stadium is up in Cobb County on the northern side of the city, and the All-State Arena and everything is right smack dab in the middle of downtown. So I will not be going to any more events at any of those three arenas. Um, I don't know if they had a soccer game there in Atlanta or not, because they had a soccer game and were projecting it on the outside of the Mercedes-Benz stadium, I think it is right there. Um, so, but yeah, overall, a good experience in Atlanta. I want to talk a little bit about Raw the next night. Um, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Raw the next night. I enjoyed it being 2 hours again, except for all the commercials, because apparently they feel like they got to cram 3 hours worth of advertising time into a 2 hour show, which really hurts the product. Um, the Gunther Sami Zayn match was just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Sami Zayn actually got real ring gear, real actual wrestling tights. He doesn't look like a bum anymore wearing sweatpants with his graphics cricketed on it. For those who don't know what a cricket is, look it up. It's basically a vinyl cutting machine. So that allows you to cut like iron-on vinyl patterns and sticky iron patterns and everything else. Um, and then NXT last night went head-to-head with AEW, and that fledgling forgot the company. But I will say this about NXT. The opening segment with Trick Williams, and, they had Jey Uso come out at the end of it, and he just comes in, says yeet a bunch of times, and that's it. And I'm sitting here going, why was he there? Why? Like, he's not seen again for the rest of the show. And it's like, why? Why are you here? There's no point to him being there. He didn't further any feuds. He didn't go get into fight. You know, he wrestled Monday night against Xavier Woods, and he was up in the Skybox on Saturday. Let's review Jey Uso's week so far. In the Skybox on Saturday, wrestled a hell of a match with Xavier Woods on Monday. Tuesday, he just shows up, says he dips. He did not need to be on NXT. I don't think him being on NXT is going to affect the ratings at all. Sexy Red, why? Just why? The fact that, she's a BET award winner. Yeah, let me know when she wins a Grammy. Not that that means a whole hell of a lot nowadays, but still. She adds nothing to the show. I did like the stuff with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, and then Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. I love me some Julia. She looks awesome. I like Stephanie Vaquer too. They're gonna be stars, man. If they can handle the way that company operates, they're gonna be stars. Um, it almost makes me want to travel down to Florida once Florida gets itself back together, man. My thoughts out to all you guys. Y'all are getting hammered again today. And then, same goes for North Carolina and Georgia and all them, man. Asheville. I'm a truck driver, and I-40 going through Asheville is a major thoroughfare. And right now, you cannot take I-40 in or out of Tennessee. They got it shut down right there at the Tennessee-North Carolina border because the road's gone. It's not there anymore. People's homes are not there anymore. So, anyway, overall, NXT and Tony D'Angelo beating Obafemi. Hell of a match. Hell of a finish. Hell of a finish. And then you got, you know, Randy Orton wrestling the young OG, and the young OG gets the attaboy, and Ava is announcing a triple threat match. Wesley, Javon Evans, and All Ego. Winner gets a shot at Halloween Havoc. I thought about trying to go to Halloween Havoc. I don't know. It depends on if I get a wild hair up my you know what and decide to do that. But so I don't know. I doubt it because driving 8 hours down and back to Atlanta and then driving 8 hours up to Hershey. I mean, yeah, it's two totally different animals, but I don't know if I want to put myself through that so soon because it took a lot. This past weekend, took a lot out of me. Um, I want to talk about the AEW Collision ratings from last week. They only got like 215,000 or 230 some thousand viewers, and Meltzer finally caved in a little bit and goes, "Look, they had the same competition last year. WWE running a pay-per-view against them the same week last year. Um, college football, you got baseball playoffs, you got NFL and all this mess, and they did better ratings last year than they did this year. Football's ratings this year are actually down from last year, if you believe what the pundits are saying. But Meltzer finally admitting, hey, they got to do something, and him saying, oh, it's just a cold company right now. Well, what can they do to fix it, Dave? You won't. I mean, it's one thing to admit that they have a problem, but it's another thing to admit the solution to that problem. And the solution to that problem is that you need to come out and admit that Tony Khan needs to step away. You need to admit that he should not have the book. But he won't do that because Dave Meltzer's scared of losing Tony Khan's friendship. He's scared of losing the access. He's scared of losing the free shows that he gets to go to and all this. So, once again, he's just like all the other access media out there. He refuses to say what the problem is. Just like there was a big thing online with Disney and how Disney has been instructed not to rile up the right. Don't rile up the Republicans. Don't rile up the people who don't want to be preached to. But you know how we're going to do that? We're not going to preach to them. But internally, we still have the same woke message. So, anyway, this has gone on way too long. Everybody be safe out there. My thought, again, North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, basically the entire southeastern part of South Carolina, too. The entire southeast portion, even parts of Virginia where I'm from, got it bad in Western Virginia. But y'all stay safe out there, and we'll see you down the road.